launch, as well as the 4 models and Apple HomePod Mini that are now available, taking on Amazon Prime Day. We're talking a tale of two banks of JP Morgan and Citi's recent legal settlements, along with what they're doing to help advance social good in the world. And we're also going to be talking Disney pivoting to streaming, and the Red Sox slash Liverpool FC have gone public. But first, let's get a word from our sponsor. All right. So welcome to Cordy Learnings, everybody. We're going to kick it off with the newest Apple event launch. So Justin, give us the lowdown. What did Cupertino say they are coming out with here in the next few days?
Yeah, so let me just start by saying I watched their conference and at least like kind of fast forward through parts of it. But Apple is phenomenal with their marketing stuff. I mean, able to just rephrase anything to make it sound positive. Just their transitions and everything. It's something we should probably take a little bit of note on. But of course they announced their iPhone 12, a couple of their accessories and stuff, and their little iHome Mini, kind of their stance on that, trying to implement the home, kind of like how Google and Amazon are. Anyway, yeah. First off, the iPhone 12, they're kicking off just kind of some bullet points here. It's thinner, sleeker, lighter, displays better, all this stuff. You can display the true blacks. As people are moving more towards trying to their phone being their total laptop in one, gaming device, camera, everything like that. Getting the visuals just
I feel like we're there already.
Yeah, I thought we were already too. Apparently there's a lot of room to improve. At least from their standpoint, or they want to convince us that it is.
Yeah, hey, it's just all about the mousetrap has just only gotten slightly better if you invest $1,200 more again.
Exactly, they're telling you what you need that you didn't know you needed, and they're supplying it. Beautiful marketing, I love it. So they also have more durable glass. They're calling ceramic shield, a beautiful name for that. Some new technology that makes it more durable, which I guess might take away from their product, honestly, because I feel like they make a lot of money by repairing their glass that breaks all the time.
They're just going to tell you it probably, and just it's a wink and a nod thing behind closed doors.
Because they still want you to get Apple Protect, or whatever it's called, the
Apple Care. Hey,
Apple Care. Thank you.
Hey, I will say though, complete tangent, that saved me probably $500 when our friend decided to drown all of our phones in floating on the river a few years ago.
Yeah, I guess you got saved from that one.
Hey, well, it was
the only phone that got saved.
No, it wasn't. I had to get it completely replaced, but it cost me like $500 less than getting a completely new phone. So that's where Apple Care gets its value. Because not gonna lie, before that, when I was looking at my credit card statement, and it's like you have an email every month of you've been dinged $9.99. You're going, why the hell do I have that still? And then you drown your phone in the river and you realize, oh, I just made up $500 of value because I'm stupid and my friend can't keep a styrofoam container from being sunk in a river. So,
oh man, that was awesome. I still don't know how mine got saved. I think it was in that same exact container too.
All I remember is that our friend, who will remain nameless, Jesse, pulling out the bag from the destroyed styrofoam cooler, and you just saw phones floating inside of the Ziploc bag. So it failed on 2 levels.
Well, luckily the new iPhone is water resistant up to 6 meters, so for like an hour or something like that. And then the big announcement, as we were all kind of hoping for and kind of knew was coming already, was the connectivity to 5G, as Verizon is going to be the first supplier to launch 5G. Sounds like either within a month or maybe 2 months across the nation.
Okay, yes, I think that's the most curious point. So I'm going to be one of the I don't even know what you want to call it, rabbits that is going to be buying the phone flat out. I'm going to be pre-ordering it this Friday on the 16th when they're available.
Okay, what are you upgrading from?
I'm upgrading from a 10s Max. So I did
Okay,
wait.
all right.
I actively skipped the 11
Okay.
waiting for this phone because I saw 0 point in paying more for an 11 just to get a better camera when I knew it would have no the term I've seen that best describes it is future proofing, which it had no future proofing capability of
Yep.
the network could not get any better than what was already going to be coming with it. With these 5G capability, we may not have it, and that's not even Apple's fault. That's more on the network's fault. And in fact,
Yep.
the US is one of the worst developed areas in terms of 5G in the world, which I think is kind of sad. It's not like we didn't know it was coming. I don't know if that's a lack of government subsidies, if that's a lack of just actual taking on the capital expenditure by these companies to invest in a broader 5G uh, broadband network to be ready for people to get these phones. So I'm buying it knowing like you're not going to get 1,000% better download speed as soon as you get out of the box. But maybe in 8 months, I might be.
Right. Because are you on AT&T or are you on Verizon?
AT&T.
Okay, so it's not coming for a while then. Yeah, probably for you.
Sad.
It's
Although,
fine. I'm on AT&T too. Don't
hey,
worry.
they just ran some. It was a Verizon ad, but they ran Chris Rock on Tuesday Night Football. That's not a slur. I'm not that drunk. It's Tuesday Night Football, thanks to COVID. But promoting the new iPhone and the 5G capabilities. So the marketing blitz has started.
Oh
The
yeah.
Apple ads are now out. In fact, on my TV in the background at the moment, they're running one on their Series 6 watch touting the health capabilities that it has.
They have a
So
button ready to push on that iPhone
yeah.
12.
So hey, over under more political ads or Apple ads here in the next 20 days.
Oh, political. Pff, you kidding me? Dude, I have seen the best, like whatever candidate you like, but they took on your heartstrings. Have you seen it? The one with the dogs?
I have
They
not.
show the last 50 years or something of all the presidents that have had dogs, and they show a clip of Trump saying, "Could you imagine me, walking on the White House lawn with a dog?" And they show a picture of Biden with his beautiful German Shepherd, like laying down petting it. I'm just like, dude, I don't care who you're voting for, but like that is genius. Whoever came up with that, it was awesome.
Hey, don't sleep on Biden's Twitter team and ad team.
Yeah, yeah.
They've got smart coming from a guy with 2 made-up degrees in marketing. They got people who know what they're talking about when doing that stuff. Especially just the fly swatter tweet of donate help buy a fly swatter for like $5, donate to the Biden campaign or
Oh my
something
god.
after the VP debate. But anyway, we digress entirely from politics. But
Going back to Apple, yeah.
yeah, moving back to Apple. But yeah, so I'm excited for this phone. I'm excited to finally get 5G rocking and rolling. And I'm just excited to have a better camera as well.
Yeah, so going with that too, man, they're coming out with the regular and then the Pro,
Well,
totally different.
there's four
But then,
models,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
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 yeah.
get into that. Don't worry.
Hey,
Oh, I took some heavy notes on this one. I was interested, maybe a
nerd
little
alert.
too much. Yeah. Um, anyway, as someone that's not even buying the phone too, I'm waiting another iteration to get a new phone. But anyway, so yeah, the regular, they have two versions, the mini and then the regular iPhone 12. Uh, no downgrade with the mini. The only thing that's different is the size. The CPU is the
Is
same. The,
it
the
okay?
chip. The
That's what when doing brief research on it earlier today. Is it an actual mini or is that just a name of the screen is smaller and that's what we're rolling with?
Okay, so the screen is a little bit smaller than the regular iPhone 12.
Okay.
And then it is also, I think it's smaller than the iPhone 8 in size, like in your handheld size, but the screen is even bigger than the iPhone 8, which is crazy. They just, move the entire, bevel, whatever you want to call it, to the outside. Like they are able to do that with all four phones to make the screen like, I want to say it's like 5.7 inches. I don't know I have no regard for spatial recognition, but
Well, I had to look it up. So my 10s Max is a nearly 6.5 screen size, 6.5-inch screen size.
Okay.
So if I was to get the 12 Pro
Pro
Max,
Pro Max is 6.7.
yes, and I would the Wall Street Journal's Joanna Stern aptly compared it to a pool raft, the size of a pool raft. I think I like that
Good.
in terms of the 12 is just below that though, right? So I would be either going up or down. I can't stay my same screen size, right?
No, of course not.
Of
No,
course not. Of course
you
not.
can't. No, they're not going to offer that. They want to get a little bit higher or a little bit lower, so you feel like you're downgrading if you're getting the regular one, or you're upgrading and you're getting a little bit of improvement with the Pro to spend $400 more, whatever it is, um, or in this case $1,000, whether you want to wait another year. Anyway, so yeah, photos or photography is getting upgraded. They have night mode, no flash, ultra wide photos, all that stuff. That's across the board for all of them, which is cool. I think that came with the 11 Max maybe.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lie. I didn't pay much attention to the 11 Max when I knew I
no,
wasn't getting the
same.
11, and I
I
knew
did 10R. I was like, no.
yeah, it was like, okay, this is a camera upgrade, and that's kind of it. So whoop de doo.
Yeah. And I'm sure you just saw with like the iOS 14, which I have yet to
I've
upgrade to.
installed it.
I'm not gonna lie.
It was my what's up, what's down in the last week was just purely on the widgets aspect. So I kind of do like the widgets. The photos can be interesting because the photos widget, because it just pulls up random ones. You don't really get a chance to select which photos you want to show. So it just
Yeah,
pulls random shit out of your photo album.
right.
And
I'll
there
get
was
everything.
some glitching issues too on a third party one as
Gotcha.
well that I actually did want to a widget I did want to use. But so far 14's worked fine.
Yeah.
Other than
I think
that.
you were joking about how it is following suit with Android of what they've kind of been doing for years and kind of making it easier, more user friendly, kind of what
Yeah.
their platform is on everything. And in that vein, what I was kind of getting at was the faster wireless charging. I think
Mhm.
they figured a way out to do that better. It's kind of like they call it MagSafe, basically, to where it's like a magnet that will like clip to a spot on the phone in the center of the phone on the back, kind of how like the Apple Watch does, where
Yeah, yeah.
it'll center it on there. Same thing with the phone. It's the same kind of charging device that Apple Watch charger like thing that's a magnet that'll suck to the middle. And then now all their accessories looks like they have like a little leather wallet that can go in the back that clips to that magnet, that what they call MagSafe, their phrasing and stuff like that. And then all their stuff is all their new stuff is going to be the clip, going back to the 90s of the what do you call those, the slap bands.
Slap band.
That's what
Yeah.
all their like new little accessories look like, honestly. Like they're showing it, slap them to their wrist, like the new watch bands.
Slap of the wrist,
And
man.
there's no buckles or anything like that, or no, all the cases are all the new cases are going to form to the phone with that MagSafe, which
Oh,
is like
that's
it's a
weird.
little, it's a cool little feature. People, it's very satisfying when you see that. And I know I have like the magnet watch here, and it's like I don't know why, but it's just more satisfying than the one
Than
that buckles.
than using the Nike arm
Yeah, and it's such a
circles.
little thing, and it's like what Apple does best, of just stuff you didn't think you knew you needed, or just like aesthetically or audibly or whatever satisfying. And it's dumb, but it really works. It's the same thing with the freaking blue and green text. It's like how you yeah, how you
You
shame your
can't
friends that have
Yeah,
Androids,
you
like,
can't have
oh, you don't
friends
have the
with the
snap
green.
now.
You can't have the friends with the green text. We gotta
Oh,
eliminate them.
your phone case still snaps to your phone. Oh, well, mine does a magnet. Like, yeah, you peasant. Anyway, going back with that. Also, have you seen the Apple campus
Yeah,
in Palo Alto?
the circle, the donut.
Dude, I've seen it from the outside. I had no idea what it looked like on the inside. Like I almost like a tour while I was there
I know that
last February.
I know back when office workers existed, that they had legitimate 911 calls because people were walking through glass glass panes and not seeing
Yeah.
inside of it.
And probably watching the huge, like, basically Central Park looking field they have with like a concert venue in the middle of it with a big rainbow. Dude, it's awesome. Like, it looks like you have your own Zilker Park times 10
It's
in
too
the
bad
middle of it.
they couldn't have made the one here look like that. The one here is just pretty much
Yeah, it's lame.
normal buildings.
Anyway, so I get to that because they shifted over to make sure they get a drone shot of that while one of their employees is standing on top of the roof on all their solar panels, which is, surrounds the entire thing and shows the middle of their little park, um, to talk about how all their materials are going to be 100% carbon neutral, renewable, rechargeable materials for the camera, the MagSafe stuff, less material, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff like is all just, recyclable BS, stuff like that. And they do this all to get to this point, which I was laughing at because like I saw past what they were trying to say is they're removing all the items from the box.
Yep, I knew
The
that's where you were
charger,
going.
yeah, the charger, the cord, the headphones, all this stuff of going into this whole spiel about how there's some truth to it. Like, I'll be honest, like I get it. There's some truth of like there's all these charger blocks out in the world, and like they estimate I don't know how many million aren't being used or were thrown away irresponsibly.
I think
They're
I probably
going
have
and
like
aren't being able to
two minimum.
recycle.
I think I got
Yeah,
two minimum. Yeah,
and I know you probably in your lifetime probably have like six.
I don't want to count it.
Yeah, probably more. Me with my dark days of Samsung, I probably have like six. So you might, being a lifetime member, probably have like 10. Anyway, to all say, and they kind of hit it in there of like, we're removing this item from the box. And what they're claiming, I mean, I get it from a marketing perspective. It saves them money. It saves their truckers money over the long haul. They claim to remove the equivalent of 450,000 cars from the road in a year span. That's a little ridiculous. I want to check their math on that, but
Yeah, they'd likely fact check the math, I would imagine, before because it's a very careful company.
that's
You,
true.
you
That's
want to
true.
talk about one of the most obsessed not brand companies. Apple iPhones are not allowed to be used with movie or TV villains. Fun fact, because they don't want to be seen
I
as
did not
show.
know that.
Yeah, they don't because they don't want to be showing the iPhone used by bad people. Um, so, but yeah, who knows on the math on that? I like it. I've got
I don't mind
AirPods.
it.
We're moving to a chargerless world, thankfully, and so be it. It'll be good. But I am curious. So pivoting more back to like a widespread business angle, and then I want to talk about the HomePod Mini a little bit.
Sure.
So everybody all over CNBC and Bloomberg, the super cycle, the super cycle, the super cycle. That's all you hear about this event. So when they're talking about that, what they're talking about, if I know this right, is we're starting a new cycle of everybody having to update their phones, correct? And that's more correlated to the 5G, going back to that, right?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. I agree. I think it's going to happen. I don't think people are going to have a choice to whether or not they're going to do 5G or not. It's going to be a lot like blue text and green text. You either got it or you don't. And people always want to be with it. They always want to be relevant and be in the know with their friends. And I think you're going to see a lot of people start to upgrade throughout the next 2 to 3 iterations of the iPhone, that they don't have a choice. They have to pay $1,000 for their phone if they want.
Well, no, because they are offering the mini starting at $699, which is you can get that
That's
for
still ridiculous, though, for a
$12 a
cheaper phone.
month though
Because
for a 24-month plan,
yeah, but how many
which
people?
that sounds a
How many?
lot better than
How many
699.
people are already financing things they can't afford? I finance my Peloton.
Oh,
I can
there you
afford to
go.
do it, and I'm paying 0% interest.
Even
So
millennials
there's
can.
a reason. But it's like the most ridiculous finance thing I think I've ever seen. Still, is mattress firm financing their mattresses. Like if you can't,
Why?
because they were like these were like $6,000 mattresses or something ridiculous, like or whatever. But it's like, okay, maybe if you can't afford the mattress and that you you shouldn't be taking on 10% interest rate on a 7-year payment install plan. So on a
Oh,
mattress plan
10%. Yeah. If you're
or
if
what,
you get if you
but
get 2 or 3%, you're
anything.
fine. Apparently, if like economically speaking, I was not a business major. I do not know shit about this, but from what I've heard from the top business people of like,
Such as myself.
shut up. Business marketing. Anyway,
Hey, I took some
um,
accounting and econ and
more than I did.
other classes.
Apparently, it is more economically friendly if you were able, theoretically, to finance a sandwich. If you could do it, obviously you can't do that. But
Hmm. I'd be curious to read that.
speaking for, yeah, I can't remember who was it said that. I heard it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, that's stupid. But then I was like, maybe there's some validity to it. If you could plan everything out the right way,
Yeah,
obviously, you have your finances in line, which is what we're trying to do here, honestly.
yeah.
Um,
Anyway, we gotten off track. HomePod Mini.
sure,
What
HomePod
is
Mini. Let's
the
talk about
dealio?
that. So, from what I gathered, I skipped through a little bit of this. Just full disclosure, because I have no intention of buying one of these. I'm an Alexa boy.
Really? So I've got 2 Alexas in my apartment right now, unplugged, and they've sat unplugged
Nice.
mainly because less of I think they're spying on me. They are,
They are.
but
That's why I turn my head.
yeah, they are most likely, allegedly. But it's more of I have Spotify. I don't have Apple Music. I don't have Amazon Music. My Spotify has had historic issues with both of my Echoes on
Huh.
connectivity, playback, enough to where Spotify support actually, or maybe it was Alexa support, I can't remember, actually had no idea when sending them my crash reports of why my podcast would just restart or my, and it never happened on songs. It always happened on podcasts. It would just restart it, and I would have to start memorizing the exact location I'd swap to and from my speakers in my apartment, uh,
Mm,
because otherwise I would lose my place and would want to chuck my nice, expensive iPhone out the window. So that's the reason I wanted to look at more into the HomePod Mini, just of a more compatible. I say that Spotify is probably not going to be the most compatible. May have to go
I say they
Sonos.
want to go. They want you to go Apple Music for
Yeah,
sure
I'm not doing
on the
that
podcast.
personally.
I'm
So
not 50. I'm not 55-year-old man. Like, no, I'm not doing Apple.
yeah,
Sorry,
well, it's not
sorry,
even
Apple.
that. Spotify has a higher NPS score than Apple Music. NPS score in normal people terms and not snotty marketers is how much people like something,
Thank
and
you.
yeah, and so Spotify is more liked by people who use it compared to people who use Apple Music, and
I'm
so
glad you explained that because I had no idea what that was.
but so that means Apple has no incentive to make Spotify work with their products as well
Yeah,
as Apple Music does because it's a native app. So
right.
So
No,
anyway,
so
read the lowdown because I heard
iHome
it's
Mini.
very connected. I heard it can connect to like CarPlay,
Yes.
Your MacBook, which we're both filming on iPhone, whatever.
Right. So yeah, they're trying to get their feet wet really into, or not feet wet, but like get themselves established into the connectivity
Yeah, because
aspect of it to really,
if I saw right, HomePods were 1% of their overall revenue
yeah.
to date. Yeah.
Yeah, no one wants that. They do Google Assistant. They
Well,
do
they were late. They were late.
Alexa. I'm gonna say it real quietly. Yeah, and that's mostly, which is really surprising because they had the iHome for so long, and that was
Yeah.
like the premium thing when I was like
Hey,
middle school, high
you
school.
you
I
couldn't
loved
get
it.
into $100+ a night hotel room without seeing an iHome with an
Sure.
outdated jack on it
And
of
what's
the
funny
plug
is
drive button.
their iHome stuff is good. Like it's really solid. Like it's very well made, but I don't think they're making much money on it. I don't know. Anyway, so my dog's whining here.
Here,
Yeah, we're going a little too long apparently for her. Or
Dallas.
she wants some attention.
Dallas
Uh,
has a new iPhone.
she probably does. Maybe I should make her a TikTok account. Anyway,
More
so yeah,
successful than
the
this.
iHome, yeah. So what I kind of gathered from what they were trying to kind of sell to is really premium stuff for people with larger homes, bigger rooms, because their connectivity is so advanced. And I don't know what the validity of this is, but like it syncs. Sorry, my headphones just died, so hopefully you can still hear me.
Yep, we're good. Keep going.
So the connectivity between rooms, or if you were like put them in in the same vicinity with each other. They sync seamlessly. They play stereo. They connect to your car, like you said, to your phone as you walk in the home. They sense that your phone is close to your home, because they've got that tracking down so well within 5 feet rather than 25 feet anymore, to where it turns on your whatever you're listening to, or you can set alerts. You can do that the whole smart home thing with them a little bit better than the other competitors, because it is hooked up to your iPhone or your watch or whatever, and it knows where you are, where people in your home are, because it can sync with all that stuff so seamlessly. And then if you're entertaining is really the biggest thing. If you have multiple in your house, they are all connected through Wi-Fi very, very well, even better than Amazon, as far as I can tell, of playing in sync with each other. There's no delay, playing the same music.
So they're trying to enhance the user experience, it sounds like.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And
And
win
something
in
more
that way.
premium market.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So I guess to wrap up, because we've gone on about this a little bit, but we both like it. We both are excited new phones are coming out. Um, what do you think about the timing of putting the event on the first day of Prime Day? And what's up?
I'm glad you asked, because they're not the only person that did it too, apparently. So we got this today, and we got Best Buy, Target, and Walmart tomorrow. Also putting up with Prime, from what I understand.
Yeah,
Um,
so I would say those are more of piggybacking on people already getting on the internet anyway to go look for the first holiday shopping, because it's now later because of COVID. It's usually during the summer. So those guys are just piggybacking and trying to get incremental sales based on a made up holiday by Jeff Bezos. But Apple, I feel like, is a more of a we're trying to steal the headline from your day where you just try to offload all of your Alexa products that aren't selling as well, maybe. Um, I don't know. That's always my perception of Prime Day, though, as is, because I always seem to get on there and then never actually get anything because I never find something I'm actually like setting out to look for.
right. Yeah. And that's the adult way to do it. The irresponsible way to do it is, of course, you get on there, you're like, oh, this looks cool. I'm going to put it in my cart. And then this is probably why they do 2 days of it. You put it in your cart on the first Prime Day, and then on your second Prime Day, you hit buy, because it's like running out of products. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think they are stealing the headlines. I don't know if it was strategic or not. I assume everything Apple does is strategic, on their timing, because
That's a good
it,
assumption.
yeah, it's definitely stealing the headline. I mean, everyone knows. I mean, I don't know what the percentage of people in America are that use Apple products. Like, they probably knew that Apple Day was today. A lot of people didn't really remember that Prime Day was today, at least from
I
who I've been
still
talking
have yet
to.
to log on and see what's happening on Prime Day. I
Right.
kind of slipped my mind. Granted, a lot of things are slipping my mind,
A lot more stuff going on in the
like we
world
were
right now,
talking
maybe.
like we were talking about forgetting while watching Sunday Night Football that the NBA Finals were wrapping up.
Oh,
It's like
hey, come on,
it's just
man.
like, hey, I'm football first, so I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, you think this was a pure shot back at Bezos of we can control the headlines more than you can. Just watch.
I don't know about that as a shot directly at him. I honestly, I think if they could have released last week, they would have. Because I would assume, just from just a surface level perspective, they wouldn't want to release if they're trying to sell more of these iPhone minis and stuff like that on the same day. I wouldn't have done it on the same day. I would have done it a week before, so that people will buy that and be like, oh, I've got this iHome Mini. I'm not going to buy any of these Amazon products. I'm switching over to iHome stuff.
That's a fair point.
Um,
Yeah, but
maybe not. I don't
they
know.
they may also be just trying to get, it's like the quote from The Office where, what did you increase your sales from? 2 to 4? Yup. And that's what they're trying to do on going from 1 to 2 or 1 to 3, percent of revenue or something.
Yeah, it might be a long play too, of like, hey, we're going to make this this week a whole tech deal, and like take away from Amazon's just total mass monopoly of the market for this week. Um, I don't know, and maybe it's also with Target and Walmart and all them following suit, and Best Buy following suit tomorrow too. Might be a conjecture. I don't know. Maybe that's the conspiracy theorist in me, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
there's something to that. It's probably a combination of things, to be honest. Like I said, I think if I were them, I would have released last week if they could have. They probably were rushing to try to get it at least day of Prime Day, if not a little bit before.
yeah, I think we're not done seeing the old strategery out of Cupertino and Tim Apple.
Yeah,
Um, Here in the next, they've got to grow. They have
man.
organic revenue growth, so they've got to get it somehow. Always be growing, but I think that's a good wrap up of old Apple. Let's move
Okay.
on to a tale of two banks. So,
Yeah, I think you know a little more about this one than I do, but
I
I'll try to
mean,
keep up.
yeah, I mean, so we can just briefly move through this. I just wanted to talk about more of a wider issue, but I'll give the deets first. So J.P. Morgan and Citibank or Citigroup both got nice little multi-$100 million fines here the other day. So
Something.
J.P. Morgan settled for nearly $1 billion to wrap up their criminal investigation into what's called spoofing, which is not some sort of Halloween or frat house prank or
Yeah,
euphemism.
please explain to me and all our viewers what that is.
Yeah, so
Our viewer.
imagine. So what spoofing is it's placing a large number of fake trades on one side of a price, and it was happening on their precious metals desk. So let's say it's happening with silver. Silver selling for $17 right now per ounce or whatever unit of measurement. You put the order in for you're going to sell 70 shares of silver or buy 70 shares, whatever it is, on for 17.20. So you have so much shares on that side, it moves the price of silver up. You then sell your silver for 17.10 that you already owned, 8 shares of it. And as soon as those execute, you then go and cancel your mass order, and you manipulated the price to be 10 cents higher in the end. I don't know if
So
that was
what I
very
hear you're
explained,
saying, just
but
from someone that, yeah, for someone that doesn't understand this stuff, really, they are manipulating the price at high quantities and pulling out their promises. It sounds like kind of what showed they intended to do to pull that price up or down or whatever way they want to do it, so that they can make money. And for anyone like us, like an individual, it would be cents on the dollar, it'd be nothing. But for them, in such high quantities, because they have that capital to do so, they're making
well, that's the reason
apparently millions of dollars.
they had to settle this because that they had to settle to um, for nearly $1 billion because that's what the total addressable damage was allegedly of what how many there are people who get hurt on losing on that trade, even if it's not a Robin Hooder that's trading 2 shares of SLV or whatever the silver moniker is, but people that institutions that are trading large quantities in this, they do get hurt, and then people get fired. There's trickle down effect, and it does account to just pure price manipulation at its core. But we're not going to get wrapped up in what they were doing, like the intricacies of what they were doing. But they were doing price manipulation on their metals desk for nearly a decade, and they had to settle for nearly $1 billion. Citigroup got fined $400 million for a lack of proper internal controls and not good enough risk systems in place. Best example of this is a city banker sent $175 million to the wrong place. I don't know about you and me. I think we get fired if that happened. And they're currently trying to sue to try to get that money back because the place they sent it, the client they sent it to, is saying, well, we don't have to give it back. You just gave us $175 million, and that's your fault. So
Wow.
that didn't help in terms of getting this fine for $400 million. They also have had some illicit funds flow through the bank as well. But we're not, like I said, we're not here to get wrapped up in the intricacies of what their wrongdoings were. I just wanted to talk about how both of these banks are also on the forefront of doing good for society in terms of Citibank just announced that Jane Fraser is going to be taking over as CEO of the bank in February and will be the first woman CEO of a big bank. JP Morgan is currently pushing their clients to align with the Paris Accord and help reduce carbon emissions and work with their clients to cut their own carbon footprints. So that's why I wanted to call this segment A Tale of Two Banks. I play on
Sure.
cities, is because you've got the wrongdoing happening at these massive financial institutions, and then you also have them using their size for good, and helping break the glass ceiling along with helping reduce carbon emissions. What do you think
Right.
about just that role that they play in society, this complicated role?
Absolutely. So before we touch on that, I think I have a question for you that you can answer really easily, because I know the answer to it too. Or at least I think I do. Are these related? Their PR move or their moves to be zero carbon emissions and all that stuff, and having the first woman
I,
CEO. Is this related?
I actually don't have a good answer. I would say
I don't think it is.
the new CEO to Citi is related to, yes, that they haven't, the share price has not done well. Citigroup does not trade on a premium on the stock market. In fact, it trades at a discount. JP Morgan trades at a premium. They have Jamie Dimon running the show. Um, I think they're not. You're not seeing, these are too massive of moves to be doing just to whitewash some bad PR that you have.
Right.
The new CEO, I think, is coming in place is just because they're looking to make a change at the top, but that's just a coincidental kind of deal. JP Morgan, I think you have such a massive bank that, with any gigantic organizations, there are going to be problems that the top is not going to be aware of. And you've got people that are going to go to jail probably for it, that undertook in it.
No, I think you touched on what I was going to answer too. Is just like, yeah, it's a function of having such a big company, and I don't think that they're related. I don't think that they are trying to make these moves just to cover up things, or to shift attention away. I think these were legitimate things that they've been trying to do and implement, and a function of just the times of it making sense for them. You can see my dog here in the background
Yeah.
whining at the door. Um, anyway, yeah. So I think they were just naturally making the progressions. I think we kind of touched on it last week too, talking about the carbon emissions of companies doing good. I think we touched on Allbirds, of that being really popular right now, and them seeing an opportunity to really hop on board on that for a lot of companies to do this. And it's good PR, but it's also I think it makes your employees happier too, that you're being a part of something like that.
Yeah, they know that
Women CEO, I don't think that has to do with anything. I think it's just that's the right person for the job, hopefully, in this case. Like you said, they're having some issues with their current one. So
yeah. I think you're right on that. It's good for employees to know that the bank is moving in the right direction. I've read a whole piece from the Financial Times about just women in banking were ecstatic to see that Jane Fraser had been promoted. History is made by the people who show up, and her showing up and sticking with it as a mother and rising to the top of one of the most recognized banks across the entire globe, I think makes a profound statement. And I look forward to the day where, that it's not a big deal if a woman is named CEO of a major financial institution. So, and then moving on to more like recent news on these, both these guys did report earnings this morning. Citi traded down on their earnings, despite both of them beating on expectations, which was good just from an overall standpoint of we're not in dire economic straits potentially. The rest of the banks still have to report. And they did both say we need stimulus money. And, both you and I agree on that. The small businesses and the, for lack of a better term, small people need help right now. But yeah, Citigroup just needs to do more based to alleviating the concerns with their internal systems and their tech stack that got them the $400 million fine. And then also we saw, just here to wrap up news in the banking sector, we saw Morgan Stanley acquire Eaton Vance like days after their E-Trade acquisition just closed. So they gained about half. I think it's like $500 million more under assets under management. And so I think you're going to start seeing more mergers and acquisitions here in the banking and financial sector, especially in the companies that are making money off of investments and investment banking and trading, more so than the money center banks like we just talked about, JP Morgan, Citibank,
Yep.
Bank of America, you name it.
Love it.
Cool. Want to move on to Disney?
Yeah, before we do that, let me let the dog out, take a little break here for a second.
All right. All right, so let's get into Disney now. So Disney just announced a massive reorganization of their entire media organization arm of the business. So what they're going to be doing is the TLDR is that they're going to be putting a ton more focus in directly into streaming Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, all of the streaming properties, but with Disney Plus leading the way. Um, first thoughts. What do you think?
I mean, dude, they've got some proprietary stuff that they can withhold from people if they want to, or force them to pay for at any point. I think we've talked about this before. Is like just the writing on the wall has been there for 2 years when they released Disney Plus of having releasing stuff in their vault from all the old Disney movies, the new Disney stuff coming out, Mandalorian, all this stuff, and
This is the
really
way.
being able to capitalize on it. So, yeah, this is the way. Um, yeah, so I think this is something I think you probably touched on it too when we were talking earlier. Of like, hey, they want to put it out there, see if it got any traction, and it did. I mean,
Yeah.
surprise, surprise. Disney's a well-known brand. They got a hold in not only just like Disney Pixar kind of stuff. They have a hold on ESPN, Hulu. They got their fingers in stuff we probably don't even know about that they have rights to. Um, so I think this is a smart move. I think this was a long time coming. I kind of already assumed they were doing that, and it was probably built into their evaluation. I'm curious to see what they do with the parks and stuff and the theatrical part of it. But this is obviously great for them as a company to shift towards this financially at least.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think they're actually almost like you just said, a long time coming. I think they're late on
Yeah,
doing this. They should have done this a while ago. I know COVID kind of upended everything, but Disney Plus launched what, maybe a year ago. Has been one of the fastest growing
yeah,
media entities, app downloads in the world, and like you just said, they have access to so much great content. I forget the metaphor I used the other day. It was they had the world's best supply of cannonballs, and they just now figured out how to build the right kind of cannon that was big enough to fire at Netflix. And I, I I think from a personal standpoint of you're just talking about theatrical side of the business, there are movies that can still be shown in theaters and enjoyed in theaters. I'm not talking about social distancing and COVID, just in general. Um, that people can go to the movies if they would like to and experience them that way. It's just not, you don't have 400 times for the movie available for that movie theater. I think what we've seen already, we're going to move to, and I agree with Foley, is there are a lot of movies I would like to see now, and I would just pay to watch it in my apartment, in my home.
yeah.
I've got a good enough sound system, TV setup, comfiness, no $18 soda and popcorn, that I can enjoy a movie from my own home, in my own living arrangement. And I think that's what we're not going to see. And they mentioned that there's going to be a team deciding what content gets released in theaters, what content gets released via streaming service, what and which streaming service that is, whether it be Hulu, ESPN Plus, or Disney Plus. We've already seen it with Mulan happen. Of it was, I think, $30. You could watch it in home. I think, though, that may have not been the best parameter and litmus test
No.
of, hey, let's put out a live action version not have two of the most beloved characters in the movie, and then also have extreme controversy with the Zhejiang province in China. So maybe not to be the best litmus test when putting that out.
Maybe
But
so. Maybe this is the floor, and they're like, well, this was successful, even though we kind of really messed this up. We only have a way to go up from here.
well, I
So,
think actually the true litmus test is that Trolls movie. Not exactly your and I's cup of tea, but
uh,
they saw
au
strong.
contraire, I
Uh,
love the Trolls movie. I've not seen the recent one. I'm guessing there's a new one. I don't know. The first one was legit.
It was the one they put out on Disney Plus for I don't remember how much
Uh,
they charged, but they made
well,
like
well,
$60 million on it. And
yeah,
uh, that was better than it was probably going to do in theaters. That's an
yeah,
example of a
absolutely.
movie where you can you when Scott Galloway talks about it all the time. Of when you own the rails, and or have access to a massive total addressable market, your reach is incredible, and you can put things that Netflix does it with us every single day, where they can put shows and movies in front of us that nobody would have watched otherwise. Like, you tell me Bird Box is in theaters, that it would have had the pop culture acclaim and capture attention capture that it did if it was in theaters? No way. It was just because people could click playing, and it was on the front of your Netflix screen on across the entire United States, that everyone watched it.
Well, and you don't have to take your kids. Luckily, none of either of us have any that we know of.
That I know of.
Out and about, and you can put it on the safety of your home. At least for now, especially with the pandemic, but even after in normal life, you don't have to take two, three, four kids and have to round them up and buy popcorn and snacks and stuff for them at the movie theater. Make sure one doesn't have to go to the bathroom and all that stuff. You can do it in the safety of your home. Get the most recent stuff that they're going to be up to date with all the other kids of all the fads and stuff like that. They have a market that no one really else can compete with. Um,
Just having Marvel alone and
and then
Star
yeah, that's the next thing I was going to say is
and
Marvel
then
alone is going
and
to
then add in
not
a
just kids,
small
us too.
yeah, and then add in a small franchise called Star Wars.
Yeah,
It's
don't
just,
even.
and we're just getting started.
Exactly.
National Geographics or Geographic. I don't know why I said it plurally, but it's like they've got some of the
Forgot
great,
they had that
like I
too.
said,
Yeah,
the best supply of cannonballs in the world, and they can
exactly.
increase that supply of cannonballs. And I don't know why I'm using a metaphor that involves 18th century warfare, but you get my point.
Exactly. Yeah, no, they have some really good stuff that they can really hold on to and keep separate from everybody else from Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that stuff or Prime Video.
Yeah,
And
I'll be
and
curious to
and
see how
and
much.
network TV.
I'll be curious to see how much they dive into the actual original content creation. From
Especially the miniseries becoming so popular. I mean, they were already behind the eight ball on that of that being so popular, but with like you said, Marvel, Star Wars, all that stuff, they can do one-offs like Mandalorian with everything and put it on their streaming service and have proprietary rights to it and really just kill it. I mean, Disney's always going to kill it just because they're marketing to kids first off, and then they have all this other stuff too. And then on top of all that, ESPN, college football stuff is just
Yeah, they will
so
have
many
to
full right.
find they're going to have to find a way, I think, to still shift revenue out of cable entities like ESPN and just sports in general that are really reliant on cable, and maybe find a way to incorporate that into their streaming in a better way. And maybe it's ESPN Plus becomes, suddenly the package that you absolutely have to have to watch college football,
Correct.
Major League Baseball, NFL, Monday Night Football, whatever your heart desires. And yeah, so I think that's going to take some more strategic focus to figure out on their part. I'm very excited to see what happens just on the Disney Plus side alone, let alone what they can do with Hulu, and then what they can do with ESPN Plus.
I mean, last question. I mean, do you think they're gonna follow suit of individual broadcasting, branching off into its own like segmented version, or do you think they're gonna be the leader, the ultimate leader of putting together a package deal because I think they're set up honestly for the package deal since they have ESPN, Hulu, and Disney Plus.
I think they have a lot more. I think they can leverage a lot of different entities that a Netflix doesn't own. Netflix is purely reliant on how much they can create and how much they can put in front of you and license from other entities. ESPN or not ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and just Disney overall has many different prongs that they can reach out to. They can utilize their parks while also incorporating their streaming services. They have, like we said, the biggest supply of best quality content that they can leverage and that they can license out if it doesn't work. You know, if it doesn't work on Disney Plus or a Hulu, and you don't want to keep it solely exclusively on your app, go sell it to Netflix for $100 million, whatever.
They'll buy anything.
Yeah, yeah, they will. Just try. It's all a battle for eyeballs and attention. And we're moving into a realm where now that the streaming wars has moved from about 3 entities into what feels about 300, and that's what my cable bill basically now is, or streaming bill. But eventually, who's going to win? Who has the best content, because there's not enough discipline among the normal consumer to move from streaming service to streaming service, from streaming service to streaming service. Try saying that 18 times fast, to find a specific show. Like The Office and Parks and Rec are all going to be on Peacock, and then you're going to have Friends on HBO Max with South Park and Last Week Tonight, and then on Netflix you're going to have, what's the latest one? Emily in Paris, sitting on Netflix. I'm just using an
I'll
example.
think of Blair
Stranger
Man.
Things.
Let's go with that one.
Stranger Things.
Let's keep it spooky, keep it topical.
Stranger Things is a better example on Netflix. Hulu has Handmaid's Tale. My point is, I'm insane, and the average person is not going to memorize what's on what. And whoever owns the best stuff that they want to watch is going to win on a widespread basis. And I think Disney Plus has the chance to become that winner.
Oh, you didn't name Paramount. They have, what is their show? Yellowstone. The only reason to get Paramount.
NBC owns it on Peacock.
That's true. You're right. NBC Plus or whatever is called, NBC Premium or whatever it's called. That I just did a
Peacock.
7-week trial so I could watch the Cowboys game and Dak get his ankle shattered. Yeah.
Yeah, geez.
That you remind me, I need to cancel that now so I don't get charged $10 a month for that going forward. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that. I'm very upset.
All of that, and we didn't even mention Apple TV Plus once. Go Ted Lasso and The Morning Show.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso 2020. This is the way. All right, let's move on to our last segment. Neither of us are Red Sox fans. Neither of us are Liverpool fans.
Oh, we going sports? All right.
Sports SPAC.
Go.
Sports SPACs.
My 2 favorite things right now. One that's making me money. One that is probably losing me money on betting.
You're betting on the Red Sox and Liverpool.
Oh, okay, sports, whatever.
I know, I'm kidding.
Well, neither one of them are playing. Well, I don't know if Liverpool is playing right now. I'm not a soccer person.
They are. Hey, you can't.
I'm a heathen. I know. I need to jump on the train.
You can't at me and Ryan when we're both Chelsea fans. Come on, bro. Go Blues.
No, I missed the game. I should have gone to the game. I regret not doing it while we were in Europe. I get it. I regret it every single day.
For 4 more hours.
I know.
Anyway. No, okay. We'll move on from your pouting. But so Fenway Sports Group, who is was founded by John Henry, who ran a hedge fund and got a shitload of money, and now owns has owned the Red Sox for a while with some co-owners. But they have Fenway Sports Group is who owns the Boston Red Sox. They also are co-owner of Liverpool FC, minority stakeholder. Most recent NBA Finals, I assume he was the Finals MVP, but NBA championship, NBA champion LeBron James.
Oh, he's MVP.
Also a co-owner of Liverpool. But what they've done is where pretty much only the Green Bay Packers in American sports have gone before, at least notable American sports that you and I can name it off the top of our head, of how many public pro sports teams are.
I'm sure someone's screaming at us right now, like saying you're an idiot. It's the X team that is.
And they would be right.
Green Bay, yeah.
Yeah, they would be right. But so the Packers are still a different story than what this is. So Fenway Sports Group has an offer from a blank check company led by the famous Billy Beane from the movie Moneyball, but who spent the last 30 years in the Oakland A's organization. The
Good.
acquisition is reportedly to take a minority stake via a SPAC, because alliteration is killing
Hard
my
to say.
tongue at
Yeah.
the moment. And to bring it public at a 20 to 25% stake within Fenway Sports Group, valuing it around $8 billion. I think it's good that a pro sports team is now exploring the SPAC route, mainly because it's actually going to open them up to something that SPACs are not necessarily known for, and that's governance of financials. We just recently saw with the most recent MLB, we'll call them labor negotiations. I think toddler fighting in media is a better descriptor of what happened between the MLBPA and MLB owners most recently, before we had the condensed pandemic season get underway. Is the MLB owners did not want to open their books to the MLBPA or the public, and that's what the Fenway Sports Group is going to have to do with the Boston Red Sox and Liverpool, because nothing happens in a bad way with soccer and finances ever. So I think it's interesting. I think that'll be healthy to finally see one come public, finally get a, you know, I don't know, what am I trying to say? Finally understand how these entities and franchises, geez, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
Franchises are worth billions on paper nowadays. The Mets were just sold for what, 2.6 billion. I'm a Mets fan. They're not worth that, but they are in New York and they have franchise value, and that they're valued at these amounts that. And we're running out of rich individuals that can afford to buy these teams. So we're going to start moving towards more corporate conglomerates that can actually afford to buy these. And maybe this is a way to get these companies public, so where they're publicly traded. And I actually just thought of another one. Manchester United is a publicly traded company.
Ah, there it is.
Yes, but we don't need to talk about the Red Devils. But they,
I'm a Man U fan now, just out of spite.
yeah, but that's a way so somebody can take a stake in a company, though, and get a little skin in the game to either show their fanhood or to try to actually take ownership of something without having to lead this massive private fundraising effort.
Awesome. So what is the ticker right now for the
Ooh,
SPAC? Do you know?
good question. Let me.
Or for the blank check, I should say. It looks like FSG is going to be the ticker once they merge. Is that what?
That would make sense because that's what the Fenway Sports Group. That's what their initials are.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what I'd like to do while you're looking that up.
Yeah,
My friend.
it's RBAC. It's Red Ball Acquisition. Is
Okay.
what it is,
Cool.
and Billy Beane's involved with that, and he actually had to leave the Oakland A's to be involved with this.
Interesting. Okay. And really ironic that he went to the organization. I guess I don't know if he was as part of the Red Sox organization now officially or not, of the team that tried to buy him out basically to do what he did in the Oakland A's, to go win a championship with Boston, which they did anyway.
Which they did anyway. Yeah,
Which
it's weird.
they used his concepts and ended up winning World Series 2 years later, or maybe it was a year after. I don't know, but
I think it was 2 years later, '04. They
like
almost
they
got
had
them.
a year to build it, and then yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Moneyball with the real money, as opposed to the Oakland A's, who didn't have any money and still built a great team. Yeah, I think everyone's doing that kind of stuff now. At least if you're smart, I think like at least 2/3, if not more, or have their own like sports analytics guy that is following that stuff and trying to get the best team for their amount of money available.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this is going to affect potentially more pro sports teams going public through this route, while SPACs are
Yeah.
still hot in the streets at the moment.
There was speculation that what's our buddy Ackman was going to acquire somebody. I don't think it's going to happen, but that was just one of the speculations. with his SPAC. Uh, anyway, so you said RBAC,
RBAC.
RBA what?
RBAC.
RBAC. Okay. What I might do for my friend, he's a huge Red Sox fan. I might buy a little bit of that and just hand it over to him. Just to say he owns part or is going to own part of the Red Sox if they do
There we
merge.
go. Hey, we're already thinking of creative ways to get out of holiday gift obligations. There we go.
Exactly. Yeah. He's my roommate that hasn't moved in yet. He's reluctantly coming in hopefully this week. So we'll see.
We will see. All right. That's a good way to wrap it up. Everybody, if you're still listening, thank you. Make sure you review, rate, and subscribe. We will see y'all next time.